Well, Taipei certainly thinks so. Officials there said that the timing was in reaction to the democratic elections held there on a Saturday. They accused Beijing of, quote, taking advantage of political fluctuations in Nauru to buy the country with financial aid. Now, Nauru is just the latest country to flip, leaving Taiwan with just 12 countries in the world that officially recognize it, including the Vatican. An interesting fact, actually, Nauru switched to Beijing over 2 decades ago and then flipped back to Taipei just a few years later. These types of negotiations don't happen overnight, though. Not everything is about the Taiwan 2024 election itself. Beijing works hard on isolating Taipei, like Taipei works hard on trying to elevate its presence on the international stage. And third countries like Nauru build their foreign policies sometimes along that Taiwan tightrope. And also countries like the United States. A non-official American delegation was in Taipei this Monday, meeting with current and future leaders. These people aren't sitting US officials, though, and in turn, Beijing's Ministry of Foreign Affairs offered a rather muted response, saying, I quote, "We urge the US to recognize the extreme complexity and sensitivity of the Taiwan issue," reminding them also to not support Taiwan independence, the idea of two Chinas, or the idea of one China, one Taiwan. The US and China have clearly toned down their rhetoric since that spy balloon fiasco. How long these improved relations will last remains to be seen. The next challenge this year will be Lai Ching-te's inauguration in May, and then, of course, we have the US presidential elections.
And Yena, as I mentioned at the top, you are in Xiamen today on the Chinese side of the Taiwan Strait. So I'm interested in how Chinese people there are reacting to news of the election in Taiwan over the weekend.
Yes, I am in Xiamen City, which is in Fujian province on the west side of the Taiwan Strait. Less than a 30-minute ferry ride from Taiwan's Kinmen Islands, a place you can actually see with the naked eye from the coast here. We earlier spoke to two Taiwan passport holders who travelled back home to vote in Taiwan's elections over the weekend, a middle-aged employee and an elderly small business owner. Both of them told us how important they think cross-strait communications is, and without naming names, they said that they had voted for the candidate who they think would improve ties between Taipei and Beijing. We also met two other people who didn't travel to Taiwan to vote. For them, economic issues and the question of opportunities here, those were the main reasons that they moved here to mainland China. One of them, a young professional, actually has ancestors from Fujian province. Indeed, historically, a part of Taiwan's population does have family ties to Fujian, and this is something Chinese officials and state media like to emphasize and like to reiterate time and time again. In fact, everyone we spoke to, so people who are willing to speak to foreign media, whether they are Chinese or Taiwanese citizens, they all use this phrase: both sides of the strait are part of one family. In recent months, Beijing has been ramping up efforts to attract more Taiwanese people to come and live and settle here in Fujian as a part of an integrated development plan and as a part of President Xi Jinping's wider goals for a peaceful reunification.